And finally, I would like to talk a little bit about the moratorium and the potential recall on Councilmember Coleman. And I want to talk a little bit about why I voted no for a moratorium the several times I've been asked to vote on that. I took an oath of office in November of 2011. I also took an oath of office when I was reelected in November of 2015. I believe that a moratorium currently, the way state law is written, is unconstitutional, and I took an oath of office to support the Colorado Constitution. We also have over 1,500 citizens in Adams County who work in the oil and gas industry, and Thornton is the largest city in Adams County. So I believe that that would put a large number of people out of work. The group that comes to us, sometimes on a weekly basis, sometimes emails us almost on a daily basis, they don't really want a moratorium. What they want is a ban or a 5-year moratorium. So a 6-month or a 6-week or a 1-year moratorium is not going to make this group happy. However, what we have done as a city is we have spent time, and our staff has spent countless hours on regulation updates, advocacy, sending letters to different groups like the COGCC, the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission, who is the permitting agent and regulatory agent for the state per state statute. And we sent letters to the Adams County Commissioners asking them for a seat at the table. So I believe that we have advocated and we have stood strong on our position on where we stand with oil and gas. We currently have 130,000 citizens in Thornton. We heard from approximately 85 people on one night in November. Not all of those people lived in the city, but I would assume that most of them did. We had almost 40 people here opposing a moratorium. But I want to tell you that there's really nothing going on right now. There's no permits being pulled in the city of Thornton for oil and gas. They're all being pulled in Adams County, unincorporated Adams County. 2 of the sites do happen to be adjacent to the city, and so that's where some of the concern is coming from. And I agree with that. I agree that we need to make sure that our regulations are up to date and current and are on behalf of the best interests of all of our citizens with safety and, protection of our roads and our infrastructure. So all of those things we are working on. We're going to be starting to get presentations in the next couple of weeks and going on through the summer on different items. There are some really important issues that are going on in the city right now. We have a lot of growth. Adams County is one of the largest, fastest growing counties in the state, and again, we're the largest city in the county, and so we have tremendous growth going on. We're the 6th largest city in Colorado at 130,000 citizens, but we're going to be around 250 at our build out in the next 30 or so years. So as you can imagine, that's a lot of planning that we have to do right now to make sure that we're being good stewards of the money and the plans for that growth to happen. We have a water project that's $500 million that we're responsible for. That includes bringing water down from north of Fort Collins through a pipeline all the way to the city of Thornton. That also includes building a brand new water treatment facility to make sure our water is safe to drink. And that's a huge responsibility that we need to be working on and focused on. Economic development has been working hard for at least 5 years on bringing primary jobs into the city. And at least in the last 4 years, I know they've brought well over 1,000 primary jobs. That's good paying jobs for our citizens so that our citizens can work, live, and play in the city of Thornton. Right now, a lot of our residents, over 90%, actually commute out of the city. So we're working on those types of things, and that has always been, since I've been on council, the #1 priority of the council. We have infrastructure issues. All cities have infrastructure issues. This is not new to Thornton, but these are things that we have to pay for. We have to pay for roads. We have roads that need potholes fixed. We have roads that need crack sealed. We have roads that need to be completely repaved. And that's something that we have to work on paying for. Bridges, of course, we have to make sure those are safe. We have fast tracks coming. That means that we are responsible for a lot of infrastructure improvements, widening of roads, aligning of roads, building underpasses for safety. Those kinds of things are not cheap. And those are the kinds of things that we have to look at every year in our budget to make sure that we are being good stewards and paying out that money. We have parks and recreation that is so important to our citizens. They moved to the city of Thornton because of our parks and recreation program. We have a new rec center we want to build. We have ball fields, a senior center that we have to look at for growth. All of those things are super important to the city of Thornton. We have power outages we're going to have to address, as you all know. We have a substation we have to figure out where we're going to put it. We have to do all of that stuff right now. We can't wait a year from now or 2 years from now. We have to be working on this stuff now. And this oil and gas has been very, very distracting to that process. Right now, our citizens are worried about a lot of things. We have a lot of citizens that are living at or below the poverty level. They're worried about, are they going to have jobs? Are they going to be able to put food on the table? They're worried about safety, specifically in Ward 1 and 2, but also in Ward 3 and 4. As you heard, we had a police officer shot and a couple more injured, and that's not, we don't hear about that often, but I know they get injured more than that. We have citizens that are not feeling as safe as they used to. We found that out on our survey. And we have citizens who are just wanting to spend time with their kids, but they're working 2 to 3 jobs and aren't able to do that. And we have senior citizens and young families on a fixed income wondering how the heck are they going to pay their utilities and buy food. And the city of Thornton subsidizes programs at the senior center so that seniors have meals that they can eat. Sometimes that's their only meal. And we also help subsidize utilities and water bills for those citizens. So the point for me, $100,000 up to $1 million for a lawsuit or a recall, that's not really the point. The point is that we shouldn't be spending any of that money at all because we have all of those other things that we should be spending our money on. And the people who own the property where they have mineral rights, they have property rights. They bought that property to extract the minerals, and they have property rights, and we need to remember that. And there have been some serious bullying tactics by this group. Personal attacks on several council members who voted in opposition to the moratorium, and a recall on a council member who is very valuable. And I'm sorry, on any council member, we should not be doing recalls. I want to know when democracy became about only allowing people to serve if they agree with you. Elected officials are meant to have diverse backgrounds and education. This is called representative democracy. And I know that our country's forefathers didn't always agree, but they were able to come to a compromise when they founded our U.S. Constitution. And I imagine that the state founding fathers have the same issue. So there's a right way and a wrong way to work on issues, and a recall is simply wrong. And I want you all to know that I am completely opposed to a recall on any of these city council members. And it's not just Jan, there's going to be more potentially. I would ask that you don't sign a petition to recall any council member if they come to your door. I would ask you to spread the news to your neighbors and your friends and ask them not to support a recall. We have elections every 2 years. If you're unhappy with somebody's representation of you, then find somebody else to run, or you run. And do it the right way. But please do not support any type of a recall on any one of these valuable council members. Thank you.